G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. Am I the asshole for refusing to wear a ring? My fiance, 27 female, and I, 30 male, have been together for almost 4 years and have been engaged for a couple of months. We're starting to get more seriously into wedding planning and the topic of rings came up. I don't wear jewelry, I barely wear colors. I'm on the autism spectrum and don't care to draw attention to myself. I didn't think this would be such a big deal, but I never saw myself wearing a ring. My fiancé has different views on the subject. I knew her ring would mean a lot to her, so I listened over the years, spoke to her friends and her mother, and knew exactly what she wanted. So I got that for her when I proposed. She loved it. Fast forward to now, and she's not as happy. I explained my views on wearing jewelry, and she wasn't having it. She told me that it's a symbol of our commitment and thinks I want to appear single, but nothing could be further from the truth. I absolutely adore her, but I'm very stuck in my routines. I didn't think this would be a big deal, but she won't let it go. I told her I wasn't going to wear jewelry, and she lost it. She told me I'm selfish and won't talk to me. I don't get it. She knows I love her. I show her every day, and she's making such a big deal out of this. I need help. Am I the asshole? In the comments, no assholes here. I think you two need to find a compromise here. You have a sensory issue and have trouble with change. She sees you not wearing a ring as you not being serious about your marriage. Both of you have valid needs here. Have you looked at silicone rings? Like, you could have a gold band for your ceremony if she wants that, but a silicone one for every day. Or find the most important times to her for you to wear it and see if that works. If the silicone ring doesn't feel right, maybe a henna tattoo band or temporary tattoo. I don't recommend a permanent tattoo because I'm superstitious, and if you can't handle a ring, the itch of a healing tattoo will drive you nuts. This is very important to her. And if you can, I would try to find a way to honor it. And OP replies, "This is such a thoughtful and helpful response. I can't thank you enough. I've said this elsewhere here, but embarrassingly, I didn't consider alternatives during our argument, and so many here, such as yourself, have given me excellent ideas. Even if she doesn't prefer these suggestions, I think just showing her that I hear her concerns and want to remedy this will help. I don't want her to feel like I'm not committed, but it just felt like she didn't understand my position. In fairness, I suck at communicating and usually hide my sensory issues. You're exactly right that I need to understand how and why this is important to her so we can find a solution. Thank you so much." Info. You say you don't want to draw attention to yourself, but wedding rings don't really draw attention since lots of people are married and wear them. Is there any other reason you don't want it? Have you talked about any compromise solutions? For example, a ring that's not made of metal and not shiny. There are rings that are made from carbon, for example. OP replies, "As many others suggested, it's mostly sensory issues. I basically wear a uniform every day, almost identical clothing, keep my hair the exact same, etc. I can't stand the feeling of jewelry and visually find it distracting. When I have to dress differently, when my hair is blowing all over, if I have a cold sore, etc., I experience a lot of anxiety, which I'm working on with my therapist. We've discussed alternatives and I'm about to update the OP. I'm also autistic and newly married. I think you are not the asshole. I never wear jewelry, and especially not rings, because the feeling of jewelry on my body is just too much. It's distracting to me to the point of painful. Rings get caught on my clothes and hair, and I hate how I can constantly feel them. My husband and I are having similar conversations, where his feelings are a little hurt that I don't wear my ring more. He's also autistic though, so he gets these sensory issues. What I've been doing is keeping my ring off when I'm at home all day. I have a special place that I put it in my nightstand, and I wear it in the afternoon when he gets home from work, or if I'm going out. I get how wearing a ring feels awful. I also care about my spouse, and I don't want my actions to cause them pain. Is there some kind of compromise that you two could find? Could you put your ring on a necklace? Is there a different ring material that would work better for you for more frequent wear? And now, on to the update. I apologized to my fiancé for my reaction and for not considering why she felt the way she does, and we had a long talk. Previously, I really didn't understand why this was such an issue to her, but that shouldn't have mattered. The fact is, this is important to her, and I care about how she feels. I tried to explain why I'm so opposed to this, and I think she mostly gets it. She knows I struggle with these sorts of things, but really do try to work on these issues, and don't use them as excuses. I brought up many of the wonderful suggestions you all have made, and I think we'll be able to figure out a good compromise. What we're leaning towards now is having a ring to wear for the wedding, family events, etc. I'm already so uncomfortable in those situations, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm thinking about a tattoo on the underside of my finger so that I have a permanent symbol without the sensory problems or visual distraction. Thank you all so much for the input and helping me to better understand this so it doesn't cause a rift in an otherwise wonderful relationship with the absolutely most incredible woman I've ever met. I truly appreciate you all taking the time and offering insight. It means so much to me. In the comments, my husband wears one, but my dad never did. He's definitely undiagnosed ASD, no doubt in my mind. My parents have been married for over 50 years, and on their 50th anniversary, my mum got him a ring and now he wears it. I think it bothered her for 50 effing years. My husband has gained some weight and had to take his band off. I went right out and got him a new one. I lost the weight that he gained, and I had to get myself a new one too. We both definitely prefer the other wears it. Communication wins, and I think a tattoo would be a lovely compromise. OP, I don't wear rings. Fiancé, you're not committed enough. OP, instead, I'll get a symbol that's always visible and I can't ever take off. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't see the underside of people's fingers that often. Why are people here so aggressive towards the fiancé? To many people, the wedding ring is very important. Besides that, OP explained to her why he's uncomfortable, and she understood. So there really isn't a problem. She doesn't force him to wear the ring like another comment said either. I don't know, but I'm starting to feel like a lunatic for ascribing meaning to mine. It's a symbol of my relationship, and it's important to me. If my husband were unwilling to wear his, it wouldn't make me think that he wanted to cheat, but it would make me feel like he's emotionally distancing himself from me. I realize OP had valid reasons for his refusal, but up until the update, it's not like he had explained them to his fiancé, so it seems natural to me that she'd be upset. But looking around these comments, it feels like there's something wrong with me for thinking that way. Our next post is titled, I, 23 female, posted a thirst trap to teach my boyfriend, 28 male, a lesson. Ladies and guys, I'm young and I'm not very experienced, so I want to know if I did the right thing. My boyfriend, whom I love so much, keeps liking thirst traps of one of his friends, who he did mention that she made a move on him in the past. I've always had this bad gut feeling about this specific friend of his, and he tried to reassure me that there is nothing and she has a boyfriend. This girl, let's call her Lexi, has a lot of typical bikini posts on her Insta. I'm not shaming her in any way, but I'm just trying to get my point through. Lexi has never posted anything about being in a relationship or having a boyfriend of any sort. I know you'd think maybe she wants to keep it private, but she's the type of girl who will even post what water she drinks. A month ago, he liked a pic of hers that was almost nude, and I asked him if he's okay with doing that. He said, yeah, she's a friend. I thought this is okay. And I asked him if he would mind if I posted the exact same picture and wore that. He said, no way! So, I calmly explained how it doesn't work like that. Today, I had the strong urge to check again, and yet again, there was a picture worse than before that he liked, and not just that, many others too of Lexi. I didn't ask him anything, and I posted a thirst trap myself with the same caption as that girl, a picture he strictly told me he wouldn't allow me to post anywhere. He hasn't seen it yet, but I don't know if I'm doing the right or wrong thing. My plan was for him to see it and prove my point. Help me out? Guys, can you please help me out, cause I don't know how guys think. In the comments, you've trapped all of us. Now we want to know his reaction. Don't let us down. OP says, I don't know how things are going to go down, but I'll definitely try to update as soon as I can. I think if you need to teach your partner a lesson, you should be planning to move on. He sounds like he's not going to take accountability. I get loving him, but you're taking the hardest route to a lesson learned by millions of women a year. You can't change him. If he loved you or respected you as much as you do him, you wouldn't have had to do what you just did. He'd never put you in a place that you'd have to play this game. I literally just wrote a comment about accepting shitty relationships/partners. You're conditioning yourself to make allowances, or in this case, play dirty in relationships. Don't let this guy teach you to be toxic to yourself, because if you carry these behaviors into a good relationship, there will be a Reddit post about you someday, if you get my meaning. That said, any situation where you have a bad gut feeling, trust it. If the friend is safe or things were truly platonic, bells wouldn't be going off in your head. In my opinion, it's literally never worth the risk nor the trouble. You are not being unreasonable. I read through your comments and saw that you've discussed this with him in the past, and he agreed to not do this, and then did it anyway. I suspect he low-key wants to hook up with that girl. Like, he's with you, but wants to keep his options open. Are you sure they're just friends? Sorry he's making you doubt yourself. Honestly, life is too short to put up with men who don't appreciate what they have. You are young and beautiful. Go find a boyfriend who will respect your relationship. This one doesn't. I read an article about a study a couple years ago about how men and women perceive opposite-sex friends. Essentially, it said that men tend to harbor sexual/romantic feelings for female friends, but what's more, they project that onto the women in their lives and believe that attraction is returned. Women in this study, on the other hand, were not romantically or sexually keen on their male friends. They felt platonically for them, like a friend, and made the assumption their male friends also felt platonically in return. Obviously, the above does not apply to every man and woman out there. Women and men can just be friends. That said, I do think it is a reflection of quite a lot of men and women out there. I can't tell you how often I've befriended a man in the past only for him to blindside me and express feelings of attraction for me, often in creepy ways. I would be thinking that they were a nice guy, able to view women as people rather than a prize they want to obtain. Unfortunately, I have often been wrong, and they were essentially playing a long game. The behavior that OP's boyfriend is displaying is concerning. He doesn't see his own hypocrisy, but worse still is that he ignores the fact that this clearly bothers her. I would not be able to trust him if I were in her shoes. I think you hit the nail on the head. It is time to leave. And now, onto the update. He saw it. He's calling me, texting me non-stop. Should I take my time or answer it? Update 2, we talked. He fumed, like I expected. He said, "I told you about that picture. Why did you post it? And what's with the caption? What are you trying to hint here?" I replied with, "Wait, you don't like it? I thought it was a good caption. You seem to like it on Lexi's post, though." And he said, "That's not the same?" And I said, "Oh, it's not? We talked about this and you clearly said that you won't do that again, but here we are." So he said, "Take the picture down." And I said, "It sucks, yeah? You can like naked friends of yours, but I can't post for my friends?" Bottom line, he's upset. Things are heated at the moment. I don't know if I messed up things by this, but I'm sure he did understand me clearly. Should I wait for him to contact me again, or delete the picture? Update 3, I didn't delete the picture. It's still up. He's trying to explain, but just comes back to the lines of, "It's not the same." He apologized and said I've made my point clear. He said he's going to do his best to be better, and he'll respect my boundaries. Well, he did ask what has gotten into me because I normally wouldn't react like this. I told him I said it in the past, but you still went ahead and did the same. I was bound to blow up after this. After all, I'm a human too. Bottom line, he apologized. I still didn't take the post down though. Lesson learned, I'll take it down now. Maybe in a while. Most probably the last update. To everyone who sent me all the supportive messages and kind words, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know there were many people who didn't support my actions, but I've reached a point in life where I'm done playing nice. I've been walked on my whole life. I wanted to stand up for myself and prove a point. Did it work? I guess. Do I regret this? No. I know taking the high road would have been better, but believe me, I've taken the high road so many times now that I was bound to fall a little. I know it was a petty move, but it proved my point. Will this relationship last? I don't know. Time will tell. But this just made me more confident. And to the ones asking me for the link to the post in my personal messages, I'm not gonna give a link. To the boys who are personally DMing me, calling me a tramp, and stuff like insecure toxic GF, I honestly don't care, so don't bother DMing me stuff like that. I don't have to explain myself or my actions to you little boys. P.S. I know no one asked, but I'm turning 24 in 6 days. I'm looking forward to celebrating my birthday, and it'll be new beginnings for me. In the comments, quote, lessons learned, I'll take it down now, maybe in a while. This made me laugh hard. Lesson learned would be to dump the guy. You're 24, you don't need a boyfriend who not only stares at other women, but cares so little for you that he would make it publicly known he's thirsty and ignores your concerns. Not just stares at other women, stares after he's been asked to cut it out. I don't use Instagram, but why does he need to like the image instead of just looking at it? Would anyone even know if he had just looked at it but didn't like? I think the motivation is letting the poster know that you saw the picture and liked what you saw. I'll try to do better. Like what? Lol? How hard is it not to like a picture? He seems to be saying sorry only to get his way, not because he understands. This is indicated by him still saying it's not the same. Nah, he deliberately worded it that way so when he failed, he could say, "What? I said I'd try." I would like to know how he thinks it's not the same without looking like a douche. I'm gonna bet he thinks his friend is fair game because she doesn't have a boyfriend, but OP can't do that because she belongs to him. I have a feeling it's the sort of guy who doesn't hear a woman's no, but does stop hitting on someone if she says she's in a relationship. But he assured OP that she had a boyfriend. But yeah, he is totally that guy. I once had to lie to a guy that I was married to get him to leave me alone. I told him to leave me alone, and he did not. I told him I had a boyfriend, which I do, but that didn't count. The moment that I said I was married, he got super mad that I had led him on. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for failing 27 out of 31 students for not taking a quiz? I teach a math class in 8th grade. Because the classroom is really small and there are many people, they sometimes are a bit loud. But that's okay, and I try to give my best to accommodate them to be the most comfortable. On Wednesday, they were really loud, and I announced an online quiz because we did not come to the point to do it in class. I also stated that I would upload it on Thursday, and it would be due on Friday at 6 p.m. It's not much, just 10 questions, just to see where everyone's at, but it is graded. I repeated myself twice that it was mandatory and graded, and they didn't listen apparently. I uploaded the quiz and 4 people actually took it. They received feedback and their grade. The rest did not take the quiz, so I gave them all a 0 today. In less than 15 minutes, the first student emailed me saying that I could not just fail him. A few students joined in complaining about the 0, and some of them apologized for not turning it in. Then a mother emailed me asking me how I could fail her precious daughter, and that if 27 people failed, it would mean my quiz was too hard and I would be an asshole to fail them all. Until now, I didn't respond to any of these emails because then they would expect to answer everybody. I'll do this on Monday. But I'm wondering if I'm an asshole for failing them. For information, it's around 1% of their grade. Edit because I realized I need to clarify something. They were loud the entire period. Normally this is not the case. I don't know what was different this day. This caused us to be slower than I planned and not being able to test where everybody stood on the topic. So at the end of the lesson, I told them that this quiz was being uploaded and they have to take it. They were not especially loud then, but some were distracted with packing their things and stuff. Edit 2 because someone said that it was important. It was written on the board. It was written in the class book. there's all this stuff written down in terms of tasks and topics from their classes. In the comments, teacher here, let the zero stand, or you're teaching them that refusing to work and then complaining about it is acceptable. Give them an in-class assignment that is 1, basically the same thing, and 2, worth enough points that it brings up their averages. You could even give them the exact same thing, and the kids who did it the first time get a double benefit since they already got the points and the feedback. Not the asshole. They're in school to learn more than math. This is a teachable moment. That sounds like a good way to approach the situation. Not the asshole, they need to learn to listen in class. Honestly, I couldn't even be mad as a student. Yeah, I would be disappointed that my grade is down by a point or 2, but ultimately, it's my fault. Absolutely. This is a great lesson that barely affects their overall grade. I would make sure in my email I said, there was a mandatory quiz that every student had to take online on Wednesday evening. It was a total of 10 questions and is worth about 1% of their grade. Your child did not take this mandatory quiz, so they received a 0. Please note that I announced the mandatory quiz in class twice. I also had a notice on the chalkboard about the quiz. It was also shown as an assignment online. Finally, there is a notice about the mandatory quiz in the syllabus. Many children missed this test because they were not paying attention in class. The info about the test was on the board at the front of class where I was teaching and online. In the future, please ensure that your children check online each day so that they don't miss any assignments. It's the weekend. Feel free to ignore all parents' emails until Monday after school. You are not required to be available to parents 24/7. And when you do reply that our kid didn't fail because it was too hard, nor did the other students, they failed for not doing it at all. And now, onto the update. I just got another email from the same mother about why I didn't reply to her email since she wrote the first email a few hours ago. God, I love parents. Last edit, because I cannot answer every single comment, thank you all for your judgments. While there were many helpful and respectful comments with constructive feedback, I'm really shocked that people insult me as a person for an action that I post here. I do not talk about the "you're the arsehole" judgments as I take them. I talk about the ones telling me I'm a horrid person, a bad teacher, or even insinuating that I'm mentally sick, via comments and via private messages. Maybe think before insulting someone for one single action without knowing what else happens in my classes and life. Now to the quiz. They know how to do it. They did it often before. They won't fail the whole class because of it. Also, I'm not responsible for telling their parents to remind them of a quiz. They are old enough to remind themselves. Many suggested that they could retake the test, and they can, but not for full credit and not in class. I will tell them on Monday, and it'll be due Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., also online. As it is a simple 10-question multiple-choice test, you can do it in 10 minutes on your phone, and that's more than enough time. Also, an update in the mother mailing me twice. I got an email from her daughter telling me how sorry she was that her mum messaged me, as she panicked as her mum saw the 0 and told her the quiz was too hard because she forgot about the quiz and therefore did not take it. Edit. The insults continue, and so does the teaching advice from some people here. Again, in private and in this post. To make it clear to you, I accept every single "you're the asshole" statement, as everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But I do not need your advice on classroom management, my teaching skills, or my personality for asking a judgment of one specific situation. The situation is this one quiz, not my general teaching, because you don't know my teaching style, as you only got told this one single situation. Also, yes, I got it. This post has language errors. Surprise, I am not a native English speaker, as I stated before. Update, the kids came to me this morning and apologized. They all promised to take the test as soon as they got home today. A few whined when I told them that they get a different test with less credit, but most accepted it without discussion. In the comments, this is why I will never ever be a teacher. The kids are fine, it's the parents I wouldn't be able to handle. I've been a teacher for 10 years and recently left the classroom. The parents were horrible. Teenagers I can take, Their parents not so much. I could fill a book with all the crap I got. It's gotten worse since emails became a regular thing. They somehow felt entitled to every hour of my day. The amount of emails I got complaining I hadn't answered their 11 p.m. email was astonishing. I'm so glad that I left that world. I earn a lot less now, as teachers in my country actually make a decent-ish wage, but I've not cried once about work and actually look forward to starting my weeks now. No more Sunday dreads. I'm so tired of people, like the mother, thinking they're entitled to an instant reply. It was not an emergency, she could wait until Monday. I bet she doesn't respond back to people at work on her weekends. 24 to 48 hours is a normal response time. The other day, I was on the bus, and a bunch of kids getting off school boarded it. They started getting extremely rowdy, and after the bus driver tried to get them to calm the duck down, a teacher from their school also got on the bus to try to control them. She couldn't. One of her students even spat on me for the shits and giggles. She was so tired when the students left the bus, and that's why I immediately turn my face when someone mentions being a teacher. It's worse than working with customer service. For that, I admire them a lot too. OP has a lot of patience. I could never. As a teacher, I felt this post so much. I've had exact scenarios like this. What do you mean there was homework? You never said. Well, I did, but you were too busy talking. It was also written on the board. What do you mean there's a test? We've only had 1 day to review. That's because, again, you were too busy talking and wasted the 2 in-day review classes that I planned. And the date of the test has been on the board for over a week. We bombed the test because you only gave us 1 night to review. You had the study guide for an entire weekend, plus 2 in-class review days. It's not my fault you kept talking and only got the answers written down in a rush instead of letting me teach you. As a bonus, what do you mean I'm not allowed to do other classwork in your class? You're just reviewing, and I know this stuff. Cue shocked Pikachu face when they get a D. And that's where I'm going to finish today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.